Welcome, everyone. We are live, and it is Wednesday. This is a glorious day. The sun is in the window. It's chilly outside, but it's a glorious day nonetheless. We are live here on Fanbase, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Today, how do you know if it works if you haven't tried? What does that mean? We are still stuck in this phase where we say to ourselves, I don't know how it's going to work. We say that. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know where it's going to come from. I don't know if. I don't know when. We still do that. Here's the good news. We only do it out of habit. But as you and I know, if we start practicing what? The new way. What is the new way? The new way is to be deliberate about what you want the outcome to be. That is the new way. What is the outcome? What is the desire? What do you want to happen here? When you know that, then your next step is to see it in your mind's eye. And how do you see it in your mind's eye? By asking, I wonder what it would be like if I was this totally amazing mentor. I wonder what that would look like for me. Huh. Now, why are you asking that question? As I've told you many times, I will tell you again. When you ask yourself a question, you answer the question. It is not a random thing that happens. You ask, you get an answer. Oh my God, I can't remember where I put that thing. Like me yesterday. I couldn't remember where I parked my car. And it is raining. Shoot. I said, because I was like, man, where's my car? I'm like, it's raining and I just want to go home. Where's my car? Eventually, I stopped and I said, show me. Because that's what I wanted, isn't it? And wouldn't you know? Can you possibly guess what happened? There was my car. Because no, I don't have the burp burp. I don't have that. That's not my car. So when you decide what it is that you want to happen, do not be concerned with how it is going to happen. How is this thing going to unfold? That's not your job. Your job as a gardener is to select the seeds of the harvest that you feel best eating. That is your job. If you do not select the seeds, you will never plant the garden. And you'll always be wondering, oh my God, how is it going to happen? So that's what you and I are still doing. Why? Because it's a habit. And habits, whew, they have a way of maintaining our persistence. And that's the great news. Well, you know that a habit always has your success in mind if you want to give your habit a personality. Because habits don't care. They don't have feelings. They're not people and things. They're just a pattern. But if you want to give your pattern a personality, by all means, fine. The habit is there to make you successful. It is there to make you successful. So you do it the same way every time. You're going to get the same outcome. You know this as well as I. So then are you not successfully getting the outcome? But of course. So you know that a habit is not going to leave you in a lurch. It always comes in the clutch. It's there saying, "Ooh, I got your back," is what your habit will always tell you. So if you know, because here scripture says what? I will never leave you nor forsake you. Your habit will never leave you nor forsake you. Ever. Trust me, it won't. You know as well as I do, because you're the one living with the habit, aren't you? So when you see that habits are faithful to you, that is your cue to select the habit. Hmm? So here's the habit. What is the desired outcome that you would like? If you get into the habit, how do you get into a habit? By practicing something the same way for the same amount of time every day. So if you say to yourself, okay, my new way is, instead of worrying and fretting where it's going to come from or how it's going to unfold, I'm just going to see it in my mind's eye. And when I see it, I'll feel it. And that feeling, I'm going to hold that feeling. And I'm going to go to that feeling all the time, as many times throughout the day as I can. Because I know if I sustain that feeling, it has to show up. Because that feeling is the seed. That's what you tell yourself. So anytime you encounter a situation, first thing you do is, I wonder what it'd be like if this worked out in my favor. And you start to see it work out in your favor. You just start to see it work out. You see yourself as being successful in the thing. And you start to see yourself and you feel it. You see it and you feel it. You see it and you feel it. You see it and you feel it. Until such time, what happens? Oh, you experience it. You see, what you did not do is sit in the corner and say, oh, my back is against the wall. Whatever shall I do? That's the old way. Now, the old way still works. Whoa. So then, Angela, why do I need a new way? If the old way works, why should I get a new way? Look at the old way. There's a lot of worry, a lot of fretting, a lot of gnashing of the teeth and gnawing of fingernails. Is there not? And then a big sigh at the end and go, oh my God, it worked out. Not exactly as I wanted it, but I didn't want all the drama, but you know what? It worked out. Is that the life you want? Or, because remember, things will always work according to you and the mood that you are in. So if you practice being in a panicked mood, hallelujah. If you practice being in a panicked mood, well, then you will always experience the drama. As within, so without. It is the seed that you have planted. Don't plant rhubarb if you don't want to eat it. Rhubarb is, oh my God. Listen, it is, I can't even say it's an acquired taste. Because you make a rhubarb and strawberry jam, and it's tart. Oh, it is very, very tart. So don't plant that bad boy if you're not gonna like to eat it. Plant or experience in your mind's eye what you want to experience. If you don't know the type of job that you want, you know one thing. You know how the new job will make you feel. Well, of course you do. You know it will bring you relief. You know it will bring you a little peace of mind. You know it'll bring you happiness. Well, how? Happiness is in what? How? Whew. That's nice. I'm glad I have this job. But that's what you'll do. That's what you know. You don't need to know per se, I want to be a security guard. I want to be a teacher. I want to be a lawyer. You don't have to know exactly what it is. but you will know exactly how you want to feel, because it is the feeling that puts the face to it. Of course, the feeling does. We Feelings are part of the feedback mechanism that we have as humans. You know, you touch something hard, you're like, ow. You touch it cold, you're like, ow. It's prickly, ow. It's a feedback loop, the feeling. And what do you know? You don't touch that again because you know what it felt like, right? And you'll always remember the feeling. What does Maya Angelou say? And today is Juneteenth. So what does she say? People may not remember what you say to them, but they will always remember how you made them feel. Because it is the feeling that leaves a hard and fast impression upon your brain. Literally speaking, the feeling leaves a groove. And it's a neurological pathway that's set down instantaneously. Because remember, there's two ways to leave an impression on your mind and your brain. One is by repetition, rote memory. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. Right? 2 times 4 is 8. That is rote memory. And because you do it over and over and over and over and over, it sets a groove. But if you feel it, if your teacher says, Oracle Treehouse, what is 10 times 2? And you say 20, and she goes, you are amazing. You are amazing. Your memory is on point. Good for you. And you get a star. Oh my God. Then when you pick up the 3 times table, you are going to remember how she gave you that star. And how she made you feel in front of the classroom. And what will you do? You will learn the 3 times table. You will memorize it. Why? Because she told you that you were amazing and that your memory was on point. So now you just bam, and you learn it. And you learn it with pleasure. Because she told you you were amazing. But you let that same teacher tell you, I don't know why I come to class every single day. What's the problem with you? Are you foolish? I'm going to have to put you in special ed. She says that to you in front of the class? All of a sudden, you know, when you trip a wire and all the security gates close, that's exactly what happens to you. And what happens? You don't get up and speak in front of the class anymore. You're ashamed. You're afraid of being laughed at. See? Hard and fast impression upon the mind simply based upon the what? Feeling. So this is why, now if you have that feeling, now remember both feelings. You're amazing. What am I going to do with you? You see those two feelings? You will now live your life from those two feelings. One child will live from, oh my God, you're amazing. The other child will live from, what shall I do with you? Their whole lives, unless they change it. So how do you know it works unless you tried it? So if you say, you know what, I'm tired of cowering in the corner. I'm tired of being laughed at. I'm tired of nobody taking me seriously. That does not mean you walk into some place and you grab somebody and choke them out. It doesn't mean one becomes violent because you'll still never be heard. You won't be. That's what you call going postal. That is not the way to make yourself heard. The way to make yourself heard is to ask, I wonder what it would be like. What would it feel like to me if people heard what I said? If people listened to me, what would that make me feel like? You begin to see the expression on their faces. You may even hear their words. Now you have your own personality, you have your own nuance. Do you see? Great visualizer, is that you? Do you hear? Remember the woman that Neville Goddard explained about that wanted roses? All she did was smell roses in her mind's eye. Like she vividly smelt the roses because her strongest sense was olfactory, smelling. So she smelt the roses and she said, "Ooh, mm, those roses are beautiful, aren't they?" And she smelt them. She didn't see them. She didn't hear anybody say anything about roses. She smelt them. And what? Tutus. What happened? The queen mother showed up in the hotel she was staying in. And after she left, the doorman, because she came home, the lady came back to the hotel, and the doorman says, "Listen, I got all these roses. Would you like some?" So you see, each and every one of us, we have our nuance. I hear. So this is why I'm always having a conversation. But you and I are always having conversations. It's just that mine, I am more prevalent at having. I choose conversations over anything else because that's how I was raised. To hear. I had to memorize words before I could read. I had to memorize scripture and hymns. So for me, my memory and the way I hear things. So that's my nuance. That's my personality. What's yours? If you're a dancer like Neville, well, y'all dancers need to feel. You can hear that music in your whole body. You can feel it in your body. You can see the moves as you make them. That's your nuance. That's how you learn to do it. So you have to find your personality. What helps you to see and hear and taste and touch? What helps you? That's what you use. So the process is always going to be the same, which is what? What would it be like if my life were different? What would that feel like to me? That is always going to be the process. You must always select the seed, right? That's always going to be the process. But how you plant the seed, do you dig a little hole? Do you push your finger in the hole or do you get a little spade? Do you have oxen? Do you have a horse? What? How you plant the seed is your nuance, is your way. So then plant the seed according to you. You can't plant according to me. I'm telling you that the process of selecting the seed is never going to change. You must always make a choice. You must always test it out for yourself. But that process is never going to change. Planting and reaping will never change. In order for something to be reaped, it must have been planted. It is law. So that will never change. But how Oracle plants it, how Shea Butter plants it, how the better man plants it, that's up to you. See? The nuance is important. How do you do it? Right? There. Remember that always. Remember that always. You have your own special way of doing the process. So don't feel bad if you don't hear. Don't feel bad if you don't see. Exercise what you do that is unique to you. Your nuance. Yes? Let's move on. So today, I know we tend to worry, especially when we feel like our back is against the wall. Listen, do not wait for a situation to occur. Or, in other words, don't wait until your back is against the wall. Why would you wait for that? Why? So you can see how strong and skilled you are? Come on now. You don't have to have your back up against the wall to figure that out. So, what do? You practice using the principles on a daily basis. It could be for a cup of coffee. It could be for a new pen. It could be for a new haircut. It could be for anything. But the point is, practice it so that if or when you encounter something, you say, I know how to deal with this. Get your back up off the wall. Right? You don't have to put yourself through trials and tribulations. Who else is putting you through trials and tribulations? Your choices. The choices that you make. Think about it. The next time you hear, oh my God, the universe is really putting me through it, is it? You do not have an adversary, but you do make choices. And every choice is a cause. Hear it. Because every cause has its effect, and every effect its cause. So when you are choosing, this is why you become deliberate in the choice that you make. Because the choice that you make determines the outcome. But if you don't know the choice to make, here's the grace. Oh, hallelujah. Here's the grace. If you don't know, choose A. If you don't know to choose A, you know what? You know how you want to feel. You know how sitting in that corner office would make you feel. You know how tapping your bank card or your credit card makes you feel when you don't have to say, approved, say approved, say approved, say approved. Don't you laugh because you know what I'm talking about. We've all been there at some point in our lives when we said, oh, I hope it goes through, hope it goes through. We've all done that. So, what would it feel like to you if you didn't have to have that feeling, but you said, oh, tap, we're good to go. Tap, we're good to go. Tap, we're good to go. Oh, it makes you feel good, doesn't it? So, if you know that feeling is what you want, well, then have that feeling. And at first, the feeling may not feel true to you. But what makes a thing true? The more you do it, the more you say it to yourself. This is why Neville Goddard can tell you the statement, an assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. So it's not that it is true or false. Listen, a red light will always be true. Green light will always be true. Hello. Those are cold, hard facts because that's what they are. But the cold, hard fact now of this side, if you want to make all the green lights, be deliberate and say, listen, I got to get where I'm going on time. Let's get all these green lights. The green light is go, and it is a cold, hard fact. But you have the capacity to bend the facts to bring about your desire. You don't have to force it. You don't have to fake it. You need to accept it. So the next time you don't sit in your car and go, don't be late. No, what do you want? That's what should come out of your mouth. Why? You have to try it out and test it for yourself, obviously. But when you say, don't be late, where is your focus? Where are you looking at? You're looking at late. Oh, oh. Well, it's what you're saying, isn't it? Don't be late. So what do you want? I want to be on time. Is that not what you want? Not being late and being on time are not the same. I can't be late. Shoot, you will meet with every delay there is because you are singularly focused on late and the anxiety of being late. But what do you want? You want to be on time. So see yourself as being on time. Or hear, oh my goodness, you arrived with so much time, we'll finish early. See? This is how you know. Or else, how are you going to know something works if you don't test it? Listen, if you've never baked a loaf of bread in your life, you've got some learning to do. But what do you want? You want, because this is the part that we love, isn't it? You smell that fresh baked bread. Everybody knows what that smells like. And then it is warm. And you, if you're tactile, if you touch, you got the butter knife in your hand and you're spreading the soft butter because it's room temperature. We don't deal with margarine. I digress. You spread that butter on that warm bread. And then you take a bite. And what's the first thing you say? Oh my God, that tastes so good. If you've never baked a loaf of bread, but that is the experience you want to have, then go there. Go there. Don't worry about what do I need to do. You will find the right recipe. You'll find the right YouTube video that will guide you through the process. You'll find it and you will follow it step by step by step. And then what will happen? The very same thing you saw in the end. You sitting on that kitchen chair, taking a bite out of a slice of warm buttered bread. Hot buttered buns. Now, what did you do? You baked a loaf of bread. See? That's where we always start, with what we want to experience. And then the pathway opens up. How can the effect happen if there is no cause? So, if you use the effect to bring about the cause, what did you just do? Reversibility. Oh, yes. It's not the law of reversibility, it's that you can use the law in the reverse. I'll say it again. The law is not reversibility, it is that you can use the law in the reverse. You can use the effect to bring about the cause, just as you can use the cause to bring about the effect. What's that mean? It means if you only have a feeling and you go with the feeling, you'll bring about the thing. You'll get the thing because the thing will match your feeling. But if you don't know what the feeling is, but you have the thing, hey, now you'll get to know the feeling. So you can use a thing to bring about a feeling, and you can use a feeling to bring about a thing. You can use it in the reverse. You can use electricity to generate heat. You can use heat to generate electricity. You can use it in the reverse. It does not create a law of reversibility. The law is not reversibility. The law is causation. But you can use it in the reverse. Don't get it twisted. Remember what it actually is that you're dealing with. So when you go out into the world today, let the first thing that comes out of your mouth be, huh, I wonder what it would be like if I accomplish this task. Oh, I wonder what that would feel like to me. And you just sit there and let the feeling course through your body. You're going to feel it. But don't you dare, because we've done it. And we do it, don't we? Yeah, but that might not be possible. Now, what did you do? The moment you say, that might not be possible, you've just thrown dirt on the fire. What happens to a fire when you throw dirt on it? Ask any good fireman. They're lovely in their uniforms, aren't they? I digress. Ask any good fireman and he'll tell you. Or she'll tell you. You put out the fire. So do not extinguish your fire. Don't block yourself. Come on now. When you ask, I wonder what it would feel like if I totally accomplished that task. Listen, every time I ask that question, I have to smile because I start to get all tingly and, whew, because that's your natural process. Cause and effect and cause are at work. You start to feel it. So that's why if you say, oh my God, I don't think I can do this, what do you think happens? The feeling of not being able to do it rises up in your bosom. And what do you say? See, I knew I couldn't do it. And there you are left with the longing of wanting to do it, but the feeling of not being able to. And what always wins? The feeling. Because why does it always win? Because it is the thing that leaves the hard and fast impression upon you. So today, as you and I go through this day, practice. I wonder what it would be like if I do that with my son sometimes. Like especially if he's being especially hungry and ornery. I just stop and I say, I wonder what it would be like if this child would just eat. And I didn't have to put my fingers around his throat and squeeze because he forgets himself. And he'll laugh and I'll laugh and he'll go eat because he just will. See? Because what do you want? Do you want to argue with your child? No, I'm telling you now, I don't want to argue with nobody. I don't even like arguing with myself. But if I forget myself, that's what I do. I argue. Don't argue. Have a conversation with yourself, though. I wonder what it would be like if you practice that day in and day out. You will automatically be doing revision. You will look at a situation because remember when Neville says, "What if you get a letter in the mail that you open it and it says, dear such and such." Or dear gentle reader, you get that letter and you're like, well, I don't like the news in that. But what have you been practicing? You've been practicing. I wonder what it would be like if the letter said this instead. You'll change your situation. But right now, for you, it's hearsay. Do you want to have the experience? I wonder what it would be like if I tried to use this principle and it worked. Well, take out the word try. I wonder what it would be like if I tested this thing that she's talking about, that she says to me the same way every single day, ad nauseum. I wonder what if it worked. Well, I would be surprised. Uh, I'd be like totally freaked out if it worked because that would mean, oh, I could change any situation. Oh, I couldn't I? See the excitement that you get? And you start seeing yourself having accomplished using the principle. And because you can feel the excitement and the thrill of using the principle, what happens to you? Oh, you begin to leave a mental impression upon your brain that, wait a minute, I can change my situation by simply applying one simple principle. I am a gardener and I'm choosing the seeds and they'll grow once I plant them. Oh, well, let me see if it works. I'm excited now. I'm telling you, if you do it, you, my beautiful friend, you will reap your harvest. You notice there's no, I wonder when it's going to happen. All I know is those beets will be ready in the fall. That's all I know. And we are not near fall yet, are we? We are still getting through spring, rolling into summer. That's where we're at right now. That's where we're at. So I know when I can harvest in the fall. That's what I know. I don't know anything else. So I'm just merrily excited, waiting and watching my harvest grow. That's all I know. Which means what? Bring it from the garden in the dirt, bring it to your mind. What are you doing then? You're watching every quote unquote synchronicity. Oh my God, what a coincidence. There are no coincidences. It is just the evidence of what you are focused upon. So that's what you're excited about seeing. You're like, oh my God, it's working. My seeds have taken sprout. Well, yes, that's what you're doing day in and day out. Is it not? So how do you know if it works if you don't try it? How do you know? Don't you want to know? Hmm? Listen, the nature of man is to be curious. The nature of man is to be curious. Without the curiosity, man would not create, you know. Think about it. Have you ever seen some of those runway fashion shows and you see some of the outfits and you're like, somebody actually saw that in their imagination? Somebody sat there and said, I wonder if I put this chair on somebody's shoulder and they walk down the runway, I wonder what that would look like. And they saw it in their mind's eye and they recreated it. And you're looking at that piece of fashion and you're thinking, were you high when you did that? Because that's not cool, man. That's not normal. And you're like, that's weird. But it came out of someone's imagination, did it not? So you see, it is the curiosity to experience the principles in the palm of your hands. Oh, indeed. That's the best part. To ply it, to bend it, to shape it, to reshape it. Never discarding a single thing. You just rework it until it takes the shape of what you want it to take the shape of. So you see, if you practice daily, you won't find yourself against any wall unless you want to lean back, right? Unless you deliberately choose to lean back. That's how you'll find yourself against the wall. If you deliberately choose to just lean back. But you will not find yourself against the wall because of cause and effect. Oh my God, how did I do this? How did this happen to me? No, you won't find yourself there ever again. Why? Because the world is like wet clay in your hands. Or the world is a rose bush and the principles are the shears. And you clip away whatever is not necessary anymore. Which means now what? You are the master gardener. That's what it means. So do you want to be the master gardener? Yeah, but that's such a big responsibility. You know, life is so much simpler when somebody does everything for you and makes all your decisions for you. I prefer that life. Do you really? You know as well as I know that that's a load of hogwash. You don't prefer somebody making decisions for you because if you did, you wouldn't complain. No, you wouldn't. So, why then do you not allow yourself to be intrigued? To say, wait a minute, I am the master gardener. I get to choose the seeds. I get to choose the kind of experiences I want to have. Well, let me test myself. Let me see if I can feel what I want my harvest to be like. And that is where you begin. Your harvest could be health. Your harvest could be money. Your harvest could be relationships. It doesn't matter what you want your harvest to be. Are you excited enough? Are you curious enough to say, hmm, what would it feel like if I dot dot dot, you name it? How would you know it works if you don't test it for yourself? Let us take a brief moment, shall we, to welcome everyone into the space on this lovely Wednesday morning. Hey, Cyber, checkmate, the better man. Well, you are the 3 out of the 18 who've made themselves known here on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So, hey, y'all. I see you. Welcome to the space. Who's in fan base this morning? Flo Smiles. Hey. Shea Butter. Ali is here. Joaquin. Oracle Treehouse. It is so good to see each and every one of you here on this lovely day. It truly is. Today, we did not put the sun in the sky. You know we didn't put the pollen on the trees. If it was left at the some of us, there would be no pollen. But if there's no pollen, there's no life, is there? So if you're dealing with allergies, what would it be like if you could walk down the street and inhale nice and deep and not have your eyes be watering and sneezing? Come now. What would that be like for you? Oh, what would you do with your day? Where would you go? If you were not held prisoner by your allergies. Only one way to find out. Feel it. Feel the excitement of what that would be like. Would you skip down the street? Listen, would you go to the botanical gardens? Well, why not? Because you're not prisoner now. You're free. So, what would it feel like to you if you were not held prisoner by your allergies? What's the first thing you would do? Your eyes weren't red. Your nose wasn't red and watery. Who would be the first person to notice? And what would they say to you? Ah, revel in that part. And you will bring about your freedom from allergies. Oh, how do you know that it works, Angela? Because the principles of creation always work. It is up to you to test it out for your own self, for whatever that situation is that has you in its grip, so that you can come back and say, Angela, I thought you were nuts. And I'll ask you which ones: walnuts, pecans, cashews. Which nuts do you think I am? You might think I am, but until you do it for yourself, you'll always wonder. Do you want to keep wondering, or do you want to know? I'm putting the keys in your hands today. What would it be like if? That's the question. You answer that question. You don't answer it with words. You answer it with your feelings. Because it's when you think of something, it makes you feel. That's how you know what you're thinking about. As within, so without. You know what you're thinking about because of the way it makes you feel. Hello. For those of you who are in relationships, you know what I'm talking about. Tongue in cheek, but you know what I'm talking about. You'll always know what that man is thinking. Because you will. There's always the evidence, is there not? You must always see the evidence of what you're thinking. Oh, yes. So bring it from below, which is in your body. Bring it up to your mind now? What are you thinking? Well, that depends. How do you feel? The thought makes you feel. Cause and effect. The thought will always make you feel, but the corresponding feeling is based upon the type of thought. You reap what you have sown. So practice today, yes? Practice every day. Hello. Practice every day and watch your life transform itself. And then you'll be talking about, oh my God, I did it. I did it. I did it. Yes. And people will watch you and go, ah, oh, she crazy. He's nuts. And what do you say? But I can show you how to do it too. Oh. And then what happens? I show you every day. I know I show you every day. Crazy. And what happens? Then they get excited because they did it. I did it. I did it. And then somebody comes along and say, y'all are crazy. What you talking about? And you say, let me show you how to do it. And then the third person comes along and they're, oh my God, I did it too. And next thing you know, you got a PARTY on your hands. Because everybody's testing the principles for themselves. Oh, each one teach one. And the world changes before your very eyes. And we think we change the world by shaking people. We change the world by changing ourselves. But don't let me keep you, because you know how I get in here in the mornings. I get all fired up. Anyhow, let me get the bowl, because clearly you have bird song. This morning, as you hear the bowl, what do you want to feel? What would it be like? What would it feel like if allow that feeling to permeate? Or as Neville says, allow that feeling to penetrate you. Test it out. Let's get the bowl. And as you hear the bowl and bird song, what would it feel like if ... dot dot dot. And allow the feeling to just penetrate your mind, body, spirit, everywhere, every facet of your being. And watch what happens. Watch what happens. And if you feel, oh my God, what if people think I'm crazy? Do you want to change or you want to stay the same? Well, then act according to what you want to experience. You want to be free? Well, then feel your freedom. Let's get the bowl. Hey, Wisdom Almighty. Let's get the bowl. Because bird song is popping today. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2. Thank you all for being here on this lovely Wednesday. And tonight, I'm not sure what the bedtime lecture will be, but I'm sure it'll be a good one. And that's at 10:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you are still awake to join us. Thank you all again for being here. And Lil Bit says to have a great day as well. He sure does. Peace out.